August 31st, 1997, a date etched into the world's collective memory. In a Paris tunnel, the life of the most famous woman on the planet was extinguished in a brutal flash of twisted metal and shattered glass. The official story was a straightforward tragedy: a drunk driver, a reckless chase, an unavoidable accident. But what if the official story isn't the whole story? Was the death of Princess Diana a tragic accident, or the result of something far darker? 25 years later, the questions still echo, refusing to be silenced. Before she was a mystery, she was a phenomenon. Lady Diana Spencer, a quiet kindergarten teacher who, at just 20 years old, was thrust onto the world stage. Her marriage to Prince Charles, the heir to the British throne, was billed as the wedding of the century, but the fairy tale quickly crumbled. Trapped in a loveless marriage and hounded by an obsessive press, Diana refused to be a silent, smiling princess. Instead, she found her voice. She became the people's princess, using her platform to champion the forgotten and the marginalized. She hugged AIDS patients when others were afraid to touch them. She walked through active minefields to demand a global ban. She showed a vulnerability and compassion the stiff upper-lipped monarchy had never seen. Her candor was revolutionary, but it came at a cost. Her divorce from Prince Charles in 1996 was a public battle, leaving her stripped of her royal title and officially an outsider to the very institution she had once been groomed to lead. She was free, but she was also vulnerable. And in the summer of 1997, her newfound freedom seemed to blossom in a new romance. Her relationship with Dodi Fayed, son of the billionaire owner of Harrods, Mohammed Al Fayed, became a global obsession. To the press, they were the ultimate prize. Every kiss, every embrace was a front-page story. It was this relentless pursuit that would follow them to Paris on a fateful August night. Paris, the city of light. For Diana and Dodi, it became a city under siege. Hounded by photographers on motorcycles, they sought refuge at the Ritz Hotel, owned by Dodi's father. Their plan was simple: a quiet dinner, then slip out a back exit to Dodi's private apartment. To evade the press, a decoy car was sent from the front of the hotel. Meanwhile, Diana, Dodi, their bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, and the hotel's acting head of security, Henri Paul, would escape in a black Mercedes S280 out the back. It was a plan designed to give them a head start. It failed instantly. Within moments, the paparazzi were on them. What happened next has been pieced together from eyewitness accounts and forensic analysis. The Mercedes, driven by Henri Paul, raced through the streets of Paris at speeds estimated to be over 60 miles per hour, double the legal limit. Just after midnight, the car entered the Pont d'Alma tunnel. An eyewitness reported seeing a bright light flash, then chaos. The first on the scene were the very paparazzi who had been chasing them. Some took photos, others tried to help. Dr. Frederick Mallier, a physician driving through the tunnel by chance, was the first to render aid. He saw 2 people dead and 2 severely injured. He had no idea he was treating Princess Diana. Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul were dead at the scene. Diana was alive but critically injured. She was rushed to the Pitié-Salpêtrière hospital, where surgeons fought for 2 hours to save her life. But her internal injuries were too severe. At 4 a.m., Princess Diana was pronounced dead. The world woke up to a nightmare. The French investigation was swift. The blame was laid squarely on the driver, Henri Paul. His autopsy revealed he was intoxicated, with a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit, and had antidepressants in his system. The paparazzi, while criticized for their aggressive pursuit, were not found legally responsible for the crash. Case closed. But for many, especially Dodi's grieving father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, he launched a relentless, multi-million-dollar campaign convinced his son and the princess were murdered. He believed their relationship was unacceptable to the British establishment.
Al-Fayed's claims fueled a cottage industry of conspiracy theories. Let's examine the biggest ones. Theory 1. The driver was not drunk. Friends and family of Henri Paul insisted he was not a heavy drinker. Questions were raised about the chain of custody of his blood samples. Could they have been swapped or contaminated? Theory 2. The mysterious white Fiat. Paint from a white Fiat Uno was found on the Mercedes, suggesting a glancing collision in the tunnel just before the crash. The driver of this car was never definitively identified. Was this a simple hit and run, or was the car there intentionally to force the Mercedes off its path? And the most explosive theory of all, that this was an organized assassination by British intelligence, MI6, sanctioned by the royal family. The motive? To prevent the mother of a future king from marrying a Muslim and potentially having his child. This theory gained shocking credibility when a letter, written by Diana herself just 10 months before her death, was made public. In it, she expressed a chilling fear. A premonition or paranoia? To believers, it was proof. To skeptics, it was the tragic ramblings of a woman under immense psychological pressure. The public outcry and persistent questions eventually led to a massive 3-year British inquiry called Operation Paget. Launched in 2004, its goal was to investigate every single conspiracy theory with forensic detail. The Paget report, over 800 pages long, systematically dismantled the major conspiracy claims. It confirmed Henri Paul's level of intoxication through DNA testing of the blood samples. It concluded that while MI6 did keep files on Diana, there was zero evidence of a plot to harm her. It also confirmed through forensic evidence that Diana was not pregnant at the time of her death. The final legal chapter was a 6-month inquest in 2008. The jury heard from over 250 witnesses. The sole survivor, bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, suffered severe memory loss and could not recall the critical moments of the crash. After deliberation, the jury returned their verdict. They concluded Diana and Dodi were unlawfully killed, a verdict that falls between accident and manslaughter. The blame was shared between Henri Paul for his drunk driving and the following vehicles of the paparazzi for their reckless pursuit. The verdict explicitly rejected any idea of an assassination plot. For the British legal system, the case was once and for all closed. But for the public, the shadows remained. In the wake of her death, an unprecedented wave of public grief swept across the globe. It was a testament to the connection millions felt with a woman they had never met. That connection has not faded. Diana's most enduring legacy lives on through her sons. We see her empathy in Prince William's advocacy for mental health. We see her rebellious spirit in Prince Harry's challenging of the institution. Both have spoken openly about the profound and lasting trauma of losing their mother in such a public and brutal way. Her death also forced a permanent change in the relationship between the public, the press, and the monarchy. The royal family, criticized for their cold, detached response in the days after her death, was forced to modernize, to become more human. The era of the silent, distant monarch was over, shattered by the legacy of the people's princess. So what is the truth? Was it a simple, tragic equation of a drunk driver, a speeding car, and a relentless press? Or are there secrets still buried, hidden in redacted files and sworn allegiances? Perhaps the answer no longer matters as much as the memory. More than 20 years later, Diana's death remains a wound that refuses to fully heal. Her story has become a modern myth, a tale of love, rebellion, and tragic loss. Whether it was simply fate or a truth still hidden in the shadows, the light of the woman who changed the world was put out far too soon. And we are all left wondering what might have been.